So hi everybody. My name is Let me get this thing out of my eyeball. My name is
Good
Panda.
stuff.
I am I'm back with another esports chat. This time I am bringing back Viv. However,
Hello.
we're also introducing somebody new to you guys today. We have Natasha here. Say hi.
Hi.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I do social media for Gangstars, and I also did it for Red Reserve for a short. Um, Not a whole lot else. Love esports. That's about it.
Dope. Awesome. So we all clearly have a work history at Gangstars together. That's how we all met. That's how we have all bonded together. Natasha's the only one that remains there. I still have love for the org. I wish everything for them, but I honestly have to say the best thing that came from them was my newfound friendship with these two ladies. It's hard to find females in esports, and when you find them, especially when they're as beautiful and as amazing as these two, it'd be silly to let them go. And to have this unique experience of having three females in esports, somewhere where we can share our opinions, I think that's pretty dope. So I'm excited to get this started. I guess Nat, you said before you worked for Red Reserve,
I
um,
did.
and the news happened. What was it about last week, 2 weeks ago, about them closing down? Um, Esports wise, anyway. How do you feel about that?
I'm just gonna say that I'm not surprised. When I had joined, they seemed like they were trying to focus more on esports, which was why I joined. And then when I actually joined up, it just was not running as an esports org would run.
Okay,
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
that's
Just going to
that
grab the tea roll.
that's completely fair. I mean, yeah, when you came over from the reserve, you were excited to like work with Gangstars and do some exciting things, which we talked about last podcast that me and Viv were on about the Gamers Outreach program. That we were able to actually get a go kart for children who are sick. And it's rare in esports where we actually get to quote unquote make a difference. So I guess since we're live and all that, I wanted to say thank you for helping out with that.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
yeah, yeah,
Honestly, it was fun. I
yeah.
enjoyed it. And they're local to me, so
Mhm.
that made it even better.
Yeah. It was awesome having a group of females work together and do some really great things. And I feel like, as we all know, friendships in esports isn't really a thing. To normally keep your
Not
friends
really.
close and your
Nah,
enemies
totally not.
closer. So, yeah, yeah. What about you, Viv? How do you feel about the Red Reserve closure and how it went down?
Well, first of all, I actually completely forgot that Natasha did technically work at Red Reserve for a little
I
while,
did.
so
I left for you.
She
yeah.
did.
I mean, technically now it's not a mistake. Now it's not a
Yeah.
mistake, but yeah. I mean, I'm not I'm also really not surprised about what happened, especially because you kind of just saw over the course of like the decisions that they were making. Um, oh, 1 second, actually.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out a little bit.
Is that better?
Talk a little
Since we're in
Uh,
I mean, that
USC.
sounds fine to me.
yeah, it sounds fine.
Okay. Sorry, we were on the Eastern server. That's probably why.
Yep.
So yeah, but like it just over time, like what we saw with how they first dropped their like content house, and then after that they then merged with what was it with Orbit, and then after that the whole concept of that then decided to then be bought out by a different company or just become more, I think, professional was there that was called, to become more of an esports based organization instead of becoming doing what they did before, which was content. I think
Mhm.
like over time, like you just saw like they were constantly changing directions, but at the same time, not really. And over time, it just, yeah, it just, I'm not surprised it happened. It always happens in esports.
Yep. Yeah. It seems like within the past, I don't know. I'm gonna say a couple weeks. There's been things going around in esports where orgs that we thought were secure and okay are not. One of them being the news that came out yesterday about Echo Fox having their owner, Rick Fox, essentially walking away and offering up his shares because of a racist shareholder.
Yeah,
Um,
imagine the name of the company, literally, like the guy that is named off of
Literally
it
named
wants
out,
to
yes.
leave. Wants to leave the company itself. Like, I was actually quite surprised because it came out of nowhere
I know.
once I heard about it.
Yeah. Especially the way how his statement was made within the email that he sent to everybody within Echo Fox when he announced his departure. Just saying that he also was getting death threats. Um, that's not cool in esports. Of course, we have issues of swatting, DDoSing, things like that, but it's not okay. Um, Regardless of what Rick Fox has been going through, regardless of what Jace Hall has been going through and what he has done. Unfortunately, we know a little bit about that because of the H1 Pro League, but death threats,
Mm.
sexism, racism, none of that. It's not okay. If you have an argument to make it maturely and respectfully. That's
Well,
really where I stand on that. Good for him for standing up. But it's sad. That was an org that was built so he can enjoy esports and video games with his son.
Yes,
yeah,
I
I
know,
understand.
that's the worst part.
It's so
I
sad.
just I just get the feeling that there's more to the story. And the reason why I just feel like that is just because, like, okay, I'm having an issue with this investor. Why don't I go publicly why don't I go speak to other, like, like whatever it is, the board of directors or whoever it was within that, like, their organizational system that they had, and
Yeah.
discuss, like, hey, like, I'm having these issues with this person. I'm getting, like, these death threats, this, like, these racist comments sent to me by this specific person.
Mm-hmm.
Do something about it. Like, I don't like, because the thing is, when you look at Echo Fox in their statement, which was ridiculously formatted, by the way. Almost like you're sending somebody a message, an actual text
Yeah,
message
almost like
on
that
your
in
phone.
a notepad on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you look at the statement, they say, like, okay, like, we want to remove this, like, this investor, this personal investor from our company. So they were willing to do that, but I'm confused, like, why? So Rick Fox didn't say anything before he did it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, did he not say anything before? Did he not say anything before actually deciding, like, okay, I'm having an issue with this investor. I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna tell anyone really anything. I'm just gonna make my announcement and go. I just think that there's something else going on for
I
him
feel
to
like
just
it
do
was an
that.
existing issue.
It
I bet you
was.
it was an existing issue.
It was.
And it hit the tipping point.
Yeah, there was. Excuse me. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, but the story that broke from L over at VP Esports, where she talked about everything that happened with Jace Hall, the partying, the frivolous spending, etc.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a lot of issues over not just at Twin Galaxies but Echo Fox as well. Um, like apparently she said in a tweet, what was it, yesterday I believe, to an ex executive producer of H1 Pro, the game, that he was like, it's not fair to blame everything on Jace. I was there, everything was fine. And she said, I know of other instances of sexual harassment and racism has been going on, and you guys just really aren't doing anything. What did you expect to happen? Uh, yeah, usually you hear about sexual harassment towards women, but this seems to be sexual harassment towards specifically Jace Hall and Rick Fox themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is new? This is weird. Normally somebody gets pushed out before huge steps like this are taken. Kind of like what we talked about a little bit last podcast about Optic, where certain steps were taken to where Hex didn't, feel the need that he needed to walk away from what he, considers his baby, but
Mhm.
Rick Fox was led to that.
I mean,
Did
like, no
he
matter
did he
what.
officially resign?
I don't think he's officially
Yeah,
has
I
yet.
don't.
But I don't believe he's gonna stay. I mean, like he legitimately. I mean, I'm sure the guy is smart enough to realize like, if I'm gonna make this public, then that's it. I'm going. This isn't just like me stating this is an issue that I'm having and I'm gone. I mean, he obviously would have had to make a statement regardless
All
of why
right,
he would leave,
so
right?
here it is. In an email sent on April 19th, Rick Fox addressed all major stakeholders and informed them of his intention to leave, saying the following: all. This is an official notification of my intention to exit the Echo Fox organization as a shareholder and participant as soon as I'm able to facilitate a transaction to do so.
But not publicly yet, though.
Yeah.
I assume that's like an
No,
internal email.
So
yeah,
yeah, that
I'm
was
just,
that was an internal email, and it was Richard Lewis who broke the story publicly yesterday.
yeah, I'm just saying that like my opinion is, I mean, I know that he obviously knew that if he wanted to make this go over like and nobody really knew what was going on, he would have just made a very basic public statement like, like I want to do I want to do other things in the esports industry. I want to just kind of move past the esports industry and pursue something else, you know what I mean, in my career, things like that. But he obviously wanted to make it very public of exactly what was going on at Echo Fox. I mean, I understand because he felt like he was personally being targeted there.
Yeah.
But I know that Echo Fox tried to remove this investor or the shareholder as fast as possible to try to keep Rick Fox. But I know that with what was made public, I'm sure that Rick Fox is like, I want this company to be exposed for what is going on, and I'm not coming back. I
What?
don't think that Rick Fox is staying.
No, I don't think he is either. But it's also not that easy to be like, hey, look, you're saying some really bad things. You need to leave the company. I mean, this person is investing. I mean, it would probably be safe to say, I don't know for sure, millions of dollars. Do
Can
you?
I just say he was, to my knowledge, one of the first celebrities, well, athletes to invest in the scene before anybody else. And I think he helped to get more like NBA presence athletes interested in investing. So it's kind of a travesty that he's not even going to be involved anymore.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. Um, yeah, I believe he was the first. Not even with his org, but I believe he came out with an interview on ESPN, like talking about his love for League of Legends with his son because of his son. That was even before Echo Fox. Riot reached out and was like, "Hey, we heard you're interested. Come here. Come check this out." And that was really the first type of, I'm gonna say, quote unquote, sports figure activation we have seen. So, yeah, yeah, it's definitely a shame. And I hope something's done about it. I don't know what could be done about it, but I hope something is.
I mean, on top of that, with just Echo Fox in general, like I love for me personally, like I love the name and the branding of the company, but the company and I've looked at their socials before, and I've been following them for a long time. I just feel like
Me
Echo
too.
Fox doesn't really have a personality.
The social is always lacked.
Oh, they do.
Like
They have a
they don't.
personality.
I don't feel
Sonic
like they do.
Fox. Sonic Fox.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, no. Well,
he has
he's
a
a
separate
personality.
personality that's
Yeah,
connected to
but
So,
I don't
I
think
get
the
what you're saying.
organization
so you mean
has
kind of like
a
how?
personality.
So you mean kind of how Optic has Hector? Echo Fox doesn't have somebody
Well, I
like.
think she's saying the brand itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's just my opinion. I just kind of feel like that's one of the reasons I was never really a fan of Echo Fox, because like I don't feel connected or attached to the company or its brand at all. Like I don't have anything I relate with. Like I like 100 Thieves because not just because I think 100 Thieves is really cool. I just like, and top of that, not just because I like Nate Shot, but because like it comes, the story of how it was developed was so interesting.
Yeah.
And like I can in some way I mean I understand, like I said, it's not completely about Nate Shot, but in some way I also relate to Nate Shot, and
Mhm.
like him being, being someone that worked at, like, for example, McDonald's, and then coming up to being what he is now. It's like, I don't know, I just feel like every organization, not every, but organizations need to have some type of like personal brand, so they're like a personality to themselves and their logo. And I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of organizations do that, but some lack, like for example Echo Fox.
Yeah. Um. Actually, we have a viewer. And they said in the chat. It could be a major knock on the effect in the whole esports ecosystem, meaning Rick Fox leaving Echo Fox. Oh, is that George? Sup?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. We just said before, like, it feels like almost like nobody's safe anymore. I don't know. It just leaves a really weird feeling in my
I mean,
stomach.
I would assume it would be an older investor as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even say it's just the immaturity of esports at that point.
No, no. I mean, let's be real. Racism's everywhere in the world. Esports is not special in that regard. Um, However, the fact that I'm gonna say it was quote unquote accepted because within the article in Dexerto they said it was this investor was kind of dealt with in a matter of sweep it under the rug. And what else do you expect? Do you expect this person to get a quote unquote slap on the wrist and they're gonna stop? No, that's not gonna happen.
No,
You need to take
probably a
responsibility.
very rich person that is not
Absolutely.
used to any type of discipline like that. They're just going to be like, I'm rich.
Yep. Um, I mean, another organization that recently closed besides them, Lightning Pandas, which, I mean, biased opinion, of course, I love them because, pandas. But they were a big fighting game org. They also had a couple stints in Call of Duty and such, which we're all very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad to see them close, but the topic that would be interested to hear all you guys on is you know, is esports getting too expensive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean,
N-
sorry, real quick. Just I don't really understand. Like, I totally understand why Lightning Panda's closed because I'm guessing like it kind of was sort of kind of like what happened to H2K where they were very like all of their I'm guessing all of their investors and shareholders were specifically focused, but H2K was in League of Legends. You know what I mean? And
Uh huh.
Lightning Pandas, I understand like like mainly their like main fan base was off of Call of Duty, but I just don't understand like the moment that they kind of really couldn't compete or afford the franchising spot for Call of Duty, why they just closed? Did they really not have enough money to then just pursue other titles and just grow into other esports games?
Probably.
so
Yeah.
everybody knew it was eventually going to happen this way. I think it just happened quicker than everybody thought, but I don't think any type of lower tier org that's not at least tier two is going to even 500,000, let's say, in esports. That's just not enough. Everything's it's just it's getting so big at this point. There's so many investors. I mean, and they're only going to go with credible orgs that already have that existing cash.
Or
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is what it is.
yeah, or like Edgar said, you're gonna have the big guys with multi millions of dollars, and they're just gonna be like,
Right.
"Hey, I made this thing, and I have the money to show that I can do it, and I have the track record. Can I get a spot?" And it would be stupid for Activision to look at an org that can only offer, say, it's off the top of my head, 30 million. Well, you have somebody else that comes in and goes, "Nah, here's 45 million." That's a
Right.
business decision at that point. So yeah, it's getting there. We sort of kind of saw a bit of it last year with Roster Mania when supposedly Edgar and Nadeshot came in and just started offering essentially $10,000 to players each month when they were making maybe only 3 to 4. Again, that's a business decision. That would be silly to turn that down, and because of that, there was a huge inflation in Call of Duty player salaries. Um, yeah, money talks, man. Money talks.
But yeah, it just the issue just is right now is that literally it feels like like and this is and I was saying this in the podcast before is that the esports scene is getting insanely like inflated, and it's problematic because when it was first when like not even first when it was first starting around the time when I got into esports, there was always still a chance of like, even if you didn't have a huge budget, you had maybe like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a month, you know what I mean, that you kind of worked off of. You had a couple of friends pitching in some money, you could make something out of it.
Mm,
You can grow it into something, maybe not something huge,
yeah.
but something that's like sustainable to a certain degree. And now like I don't even think like exactly what was said by Natasha. Even 500,000 is really enough anymore.
No,
Like you
it's not.
really need to have like big boy money
Mm-hmm.
to be able to stay in this industry, and it's really frustrating because it's like it's gonna get to a point that I mean only the big boys are gonna be able to play then, and that's it. Really, people like esports is gonna get to a point where people like us that are trying to make it in the industry, like working in smaller companies and then like, going up, right? Like people like us are gonna get like smaller and smaller. It's not gonna really exist because these big boys are gonna come in. They're gonna bring in their own staff. They're gonna hire the right people, and then really there won't be a lot of positions or opportunities left in esports for others that don't have that kind of cash.
Right. It will be actual companies at that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, like, the smaller esports organizations, they overvalue themselves.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
when they're pitching to investors. So it's just a whole nother thing.
Oh yeah, just because this is not specifically calling out anybody whatsoever, but just because you have a team that won overseas and they placed top 5 doesn't mean you automatically deserve hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment. Of course,
Right.
that's an amazing feat. That's awesome, but let's be real. At this point in time in esports, nobody wants anything to do with you unless you place first. You win.
Not even just that. Honestly, not even if you have the best teams, it's still not enough anymore.
You're right.
Nah.
That's not enough anymore. Like you gotta have the best teams, some of the best content numbers ever, and you have to do something else. Like,
Again,
you have to be unique.
Yeah, the only org that I can look at that is doing it well right now, 100T. 100 Thieves is killing it right now in everything that they're doing.
Yeah, but in all fairness, they had investment like right off.
Oh
Ben
yeah,
Gilbert,
absolutely.
like, was already invested with them with the Cavs and all that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Nade was very lucky, and he was very smart with the people that he picked up in the beginning. He picked up a venture capitalist, Blake, very early on, who approached him and was like, "Yo, you have this idea, but you're not doing it right. Let me help you do it right." And Nade was like, "Done. Let's go." And boom, here we are, and that's amazing. But maybe people should like take a page from that. Instead of trying to do everything on your own and thinking you know everything, why not hire the people who have a track record of doing such things? Seems like smaller orgs like to just do their own thing and, hey, no, we're going to get investment because we have this
or
team.
they just
yeah.
don't have the connections, though.
Exactly.
Which I think most of them, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even just that. I don't feel like when you work at a smaller company, a lot of people just don't have the experience. I feel like a lot of people that work a lot of people that like I would say about 95% of the people in companies that are like a lot smaller, gangsters level. Like I would say 95% of them are doing it for fun, just because they like it.
Yeah.
Doing it because they want to make this into a career. They're doing it gaming, they were kind of interested. They want to try it out, give it a little taste, that's it. But it's like and that's exactly why. And when you have a majority of a staff that's not really that dedicated to doing this, it's really difficult to grow a brand. And it's difficult to then get investors because those people don't know what they're doing.
It is. When I started in esports, I was actually a little late to it, just because my main focus was video games. But I came into it, let's see, we'll say I was like 25. So actually, considering in esports years, I was late. I was super old.
So 2 years ago, pretty much?
Yeah, and I started with Trifecta. And I started there because I knew the org owner through Stack Up, which is a veterans nonprofit. And I started there, and I was like, all right, social media seems cool. I do it for my journalism. I think I know what I'm doing. I think I can do this. Let me sign up for social media. And lo and behold, I was tossed into a social media manager position with no experience being told to run a Twitter account with tens of thousands of followers. I had no idea what I was doing. I asked for help from other people, from like people that I knew within the industry. Unfortunately, I didn't know you two at the time. I wish I did. But I was working for such a small org that everybody was like, no. Why am I going to give you my quote-unquote secrets for a low-tier org like you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And nobody wants to help anyone in esports because they're just all looking out for themselves.
Yeah, that's...
yeah, it's a dog.
It's unfortunate. It is what it is.
It is. That's why I kind of cherish the friendship group that we have, which we actually have another group that or another member of the group, Words, who we love dearly. But yeah, this group here, we help each other. If there's a project that we're working on for another org that none of us may not particularly like, but we're there for that person, and that's very rare in esports. If you hear about a job, um, and you go and offer it to your friend, who knows? Maybe that person might go and apply for that job and get it over you. It's a very dog eat dog world. Uh,
No, I mean, like, not even just that. It's like I have been applying to a lot of companies recently to get positions, and at jobs that I was at, they told me that they had over 9 applications.
yeah.
It's in people because everyone wants to get into esports. It's a
Oh
dream,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's one of those like jobs. It's one of those dream industries that you want to work for. And it's also on top of that, that's the reason why it's so competitive and nobody wants to help each other. And is trying to screw each other over and get them for. I mean and I'm gonna be very honest in this. And I hope I don't get in trouble. But really, like everyone has NDAs that they sign in esports, never keeps them.
No.
Like everyone
Nah.
always,
Nah. Me and Edgar were talking about
always.
that. Um, it's not just Call of Duty where everybody talks. Everybody talks. If you're friends with
Mm-hmm.
another member of another esports organization, just like back in high school, people gossip, people talk. Um, and no, people do not give a shit about NDAs, not at all.
Everybody knows what everybody gets paid. Same thing
Absolutely.
with players, right?
Yeah.
They're always like, oh, so and so gets paid this much. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
whether they're telling the truth or not, but yeah.
Nah, I mean, it eventually, I mean, in Call of Duty, we kind of have a unique inside look into the competitive community because of COD Burner. But I mean, even to find out what players make for different games, I mean, I'll give you another example. Overwatch League, um, the highest paid player right now is making 150K a year, and that's
Is it
Sinatra.
still Sinatra? Yeah, okay.
That's Sinatra, yeah. So it's not hard to find out these things. And the only reason that was
But it should
leaked,
be.
no, 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 it shouldn't be. And I believe the only reason that was leaked was because that was like a, I don't want to say it was a publicity thing, but it was like,
I
hey,
think it,
people are
yeah, yeah.
making money. We're not BSing. We're not another H1 Pro League, which is another podcast worth of content. But um, yeah, yeah, it's esports. It seems like this year it really hit me hard that we are changing from the grassroots nature that we all grew up and learned to love, and now we're going into a point where it's esport business. It's money, it's clout, it's attention. It's not really what it started as, where people wanted to do it for fun. I mean, when I grew up, the thing that I really wanted to do is I really wanted to work at GameStop. As embarrassing as that is, I wanted to work around video games. Now, the kids that I know who are into video games, it's I want to be esports player. I want to be Ninja. I want to be Tfue. This is the new thing. This is what everybody wants to be. The
It's like
kids,
everybody jumped on the bandwagon because when I grew up, cool kids didn't play games.
no,
Like, and
Oh
all of a sudden,
yeah.
because it's cool, and you can make money, everyone's doing it. So
I mean,
it's not as special anymore, to be honest.
no, it's not.
like, I want you guys to
Go ahead.
what do you guys think is gonna happen to esports in the next years? Like, where do you see esports being? Like, I know it's gonna be esports anymore, it's just gonna be a business.
It is, yes.
It
It'll
is.
just be.
It is.
Like that's it. Like either you get now. Like I mean, honestly, it's already kind of, but like you gotta come in now and you just got that you're in that like going to train the next 5 years. If you, it's gonna be so insane industry after that. It's just gonna be it's literally almost impossible, and then it's just gonna be impossible after.
Yeah, my recommendation, not that I really have any big say in the esports community or anything like that, but people uh really forget that content is where a lot of esports comes from. Of course, if you have the best players and they're playing well and they're doing really great, that's awesome. You're going to get that prize money. But what's your cash roll going to look like on the off seasons? You need to have way that people recognize you, and money rolls in. Um, Optic doing their Optic channel and doing all their different podcasts and stuff, getting sponsors that way. You have TSM Legends, you have 100 Thieves with their heist, and then what is it, to 100 for their Call of Duty. Um, People really need to do that. If there's no way for fans to see what you are about besides a couple Twitter posts and a meme and a tutorial by your pro player, it's not going to do anything. You have to show off what you are. Show your personality. Why should people give you the time of day besides the fact that you have XY player? Um that's honestly how I really feel about it. Content is not push enough in Call of Duty. It's not push enough in esports.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I know it's always funny to me. And I don't think players are understanding this concept. Is that organizations are trying to push player development, and they're trying to push like the whole lifestyle content, and these players like refuse. Like I've I'm not gonna say any names, but I've worked with players. I have worked with players that don't want to post or live stream or interviews for articles and things like that. Sitting here and I'm like, I mean, I'm so want to. I understand. Have to. If you want to make it, you have to. You
Yeah.
can't just be good at a game anymore. You build like a personality.
In all fairness, though, like one of those players was just happened to be lucky. Well, not lucky. He was just very good at the game, right? And for him, it didn't matter that he didn't build his personality. But for others that are, let's say, very good at the game, but not like as high tier as let's say he was, it does matter because orgs look at that because it's a selling point.
Yeah. The person that we're talking about is honestly for me that was a unique situation. Just because it's very rare nowadays that you see a player so good that overtakes the fact that they don't have a huge online brand presence. Um, and I mean, once I found out, where he went, I was extremely happy for him. And then from there, the organization had the means and the opportunity to go, okay, now we're gonna help you build up.
Right.
His first video a week ago hit 100K views. I mean, he's doing great. Um, and I mean, I don't want to blow his spot up. None of us do.
No.
We all agreed we're not going to name who this person is. Um, but needless to say, we're very proud of him. We hope he does well. Um, but players really need to understand that their brand is important. If you go and you sign with a huge org like Optic or FaZe or 100 Thieves and you get dropped, what happens after that? You don't have that backing behind you anymore. Those fans aren't going to support you because you're not a part of that organization. You need to make yourself stand out. So if you do separate from a brand or organization, you're fine. And a perfect example of that is Courage.
Yep.
Oh, I freaking.
Another one is Myth. There are good examples, but
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
the first one
you're
that came off
100% right.
yeah, the first one that came to my top of my head was Courage. Because I mean even Hex said in his podcast, he's like you don't need Optic anymore. And that has to be an amazing feeling to be one person and the owner of that organization goes, "You're bigger than us. You don't need us."
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
That's an achievement.
The freaking it is. Um, and I mean, since we're speaking of Courage, he had his blow up with Fortnite. There's a release put out yesterday by Epic talking about why they decided to stick with some changes that they decided to implement. One of them being stretch resolution. Another one being taking out the siphon mechanic. Um, I work in Fortnite full time. I understand these things. Yeah, I would like to hear your thoughts on it. You two, you ladies.
Okay, I'll go first. My thing with Fortnite is I actually understand why they cater to the casuals. That is literally their market.
Yep.
The majority of the players are not necessarily kids, but in general, people that are going to enjoy things like airplanes, hamster balls. That sounds sick, right?
Yeah.
If you're not a professional player. What I think Fortnite or Epic could do better is what CSGO does. All right, let's say there's a tournament coming up. There's an update that came out 2 days ago. What does CS:GO do, or what does Overwatch do? You play on the last patch. You don't play on the update
Yeah.
at a LAN. You just don't throw that stuff just for fun for trolls. Um, there's things they could do to make it a little better for the pro players, but no, I don't think that they need to cater their whole game. Unfortunately, for the comp community, that's maybe what 100, maybe 1,000 players compared to a million of casual players. Yeah, I don't know. That's my personal opinion on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It. I feel really bad for the competitive players because they're fighting and they're playing for so much money. I mean,
That's the only reason why they're playing.
absolutely.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
absolutely. I mean, let's be real. You win the solo competition of the Fortnite World Cup, you get $3 million. That's insane. That's crazy. You would be stupid to not try and play for that if you are at least semi decent at Fortnite. I
If you
would.
qualify for the world,
You
you get fifty
automatically get
thousand
50K.
dollars,
You get
and
50K.
that's like almost literally winning like a min, literally
That's
winning a
almost
mini.
that's almost winning like a yearly salary right there. Some people don't even
That's what
make
I'm
that
saying.
in a year. So
I don't
yeah,
think people realize that, like, because Fortnite think, oh, like, all these numbers, like, one, in 100 million, like, but I don't really sit down and realize, like, yo, just for qualifying, you're making 1 year worth of salary. 1 year worth of a salary. Someone is hustling every single day and you're making that off of, like, just not even to win, qualifying for one. That's just mind blowing.
yeah,
I think, like, these pros are even dealing with this. Like, I mean, is the most complained game I've ever seen in the esports industry, and I know because you do it for a living and you write about it. And,
yeah,
like, that if it wasn't for the fact that Fortnite didn't throw in as much money as people wouldn't play their game, and I know Epic knows. That's
yeah.
why they do it. That's why they don't give a flying
Mhm.
what they're doing. Like, make the competitive scene happen. Like, it doesn't matter what we'll do. You'll still play your game. It matters because we're gonna give you money. So you and the people that give you that money, the way that we provide it to you is by to the casual gamers.
Yeah,
So that should be. If you don't want the money, then just stop playing. Just go into another esport, but you're never going to be able to make that much money compared to what you would make in a game. And they know that, and they're abusing that system because right now, technically, even though Apex like technically a competitor to Fortnite, and really, like, if we're looking at it realistically, competitively, it really isn't.
yeah,
So it doesn't really matter because right now Apex does a format, which means that really no competing with Fortnite. Reality,
It's
when we're looking at
it's
again the
too
comparison.
hard though. Like Epic has so many employees, right? And then you have a game like Apex, who, in my opinion, the game's fantastic, but they weren't ready to come out, in my opinion. You have to be able to come out immediately and compete with Fortnite. You have to have ideas for content pretty consistently. You don't have to push it out as much as Fortnite does because that's crazy. But I don't think they were as well prepared as they should have been, and they're not looking to adjust. Obviously, with the announcement that they made the other day, they're going to do it by season. Which, let's be honest, the game's probably not going to survive very well just pushing out content every. I think it's like every 90 days.
yeah.
That's awful. I mean, and I love this game, and it's just awful.
No, yeah, no. Me
I mean,
too. Me too. Go ahead, Viv.
I was just gripe with Epic is one of they're overworked. I feel like they're overworked, which I
For
Absolutely.
mentioned
sure.
Did you read
before.
the article from Polygon?
Like, I feel so absolutely for the guys over there that have to content like every week practically to make happy and make their bosses happy. Like, I don't even know that's what they must be going through on a daily basis. But it's like, on top of them having employees, like, when they were hiring, like, because I know hiring some esports people to help them scene. I swear to God, I don't think they hired one who really knows anything about esports, or to the, like, people that have been in the esports scene. No.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. They're shoutcasters though. They're people that know esports enough to have the knowledge to like portray that on stream and in a public setting. But people behind the scenes, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Epic wants to cater to the casual player base. Their focus isn't on Fortnite esports. Their focus is retaining their player base and keeping this train running as long as it can. I mean, Jesus, in 2018 they made $2 billion. If that means they have to toss $100 million into an esports, competition for a year, dope. Let's go. Let's do it. And we're still gonna keep our player base.
Right.
They also continue to do things in game which retains player base, like the Avengers end game content that they pushed out yesterday. Or sorry, the day before. Um, there's map changes that happen almost every single day leading up to this new season, while Apex is still sitting on this same content that they pushed out with season one. Um,
Right.
they went. It was a brilliant idea in the beginning to get all the top tier players to to pay them, get them to play for a few games, and clearly interest was over Fortnite at that point, and everybody's like, "Oh no, this is the point of Fortnite. It's over. It's dead." But you have to retain that player base. Apex has not pushed out anything to keep that player base around. The battle pass is poor. I honestly don't think it could have been up to what I believe it could have been. I mean, there was a
Oh,
post
the battle
on
pass.
there's a post on Reddit
I'll
saying
just be.
for
I'll be so.
level 91 you get a player banner. That's it.
It's awful.
Yeah, there's really nothing interesting. It's keeping players around. All the players that are in there now playing, they're either cheating, they're hacking, or they're really good because
Chris
they've been
has a
playing for
point.
long.
Chris has a point. Sure, when Fortnite came out, it was slow. I remember, but I feel like when you're coming out with a new BR to specifically compete with Fortnite, let's be honest, you're coming out with a BR, you're competing with Fortnite.
Yep.
I feel like you should have everything planned out, including a really sick battle pass.
Mhm.
And it just feels like they didn't.
No.
Oh, I
Even
think they
EA
just try to
said
throw something out there.
Nah, EA said they took the Titanfall concept. They're like, yo, this would be dope for BR. Let's push it out. It's a free game. Maybe some people will play it. They did not expect 50 million, and they got
Well,
extremely
I totally
overwhelmed
don't
by
disagree.
it.
I don't think I still believe that like they should not have like if this is my
You think they should have
really
planned
think
for
that
the
like
super long haul, not just maybe
I
three
don't think they
months
should have
after
planned for their
launch?
super long. But honest opinion, with and this isn't just for like as I'm talking about just games and game developers and something that has been like plaguing just the gaming industry in general. The game is not ready or something isn't ready to delay it. I know it sounds bad, and obviously it's not just you're not the only one playing that ball. Investors that are expecting this to become out, fans that are waiting for this to come out. It's like, and this is something that's been happening so. If the game isn't done or something isn't done, and you isn't the quality you want to release, push it back.
Yeah.
Like straight just fed up with it. I would have gladly did another 2 months for the battle pass, even though I've complained. Everyone would have said something up. They don't care. They're being lazy. I'm just gonna Fortnite. People would have waited, and if it was battle pass, people would have spent money on waited. It would have been worth pushing it back and really this battle pass worth your money.
Yeah,
That they
honestly,
just wanted to push something out.
yeah, when they announced the battle pass or whatever, I was really excited for it because Apex was a game that I was like the day when it came out, I jumped into it, I played it, and I believe my IRL friends and I, we played Apex every single night for it had to be at least like
Same for me.
2 to 3 weeks, and it was a thing. As soon as we got off work, yo, when we drop it in, when we play it, and every night at 8 p.m. we would drop into the Discord. It even got to the point where we had more than 3 players, so we would have to designate different like
Yes,
chats. Like,
yes.
yeah, like it was fun. But now it really doesn't. It feels old already, and
It's like such a good game. They're just the fact that there's no content and it's the fact that it's
it's rough.
stagnant is what's. And honestly, I've been watching. I'm going to mention a streamer, Lyric, for as long as I can remember, since he was a streamer that nobody knew. He was the first person I knew, or at least a big streamer, that streamed BRs before they were popular. He always
Yep.
streamed Arma,
Yeah.
right? And I enjoyed it. It was so fun. I loved watching it. He's played all the BRs. Apex was the first BR that he actually said that was better than any other BR.
Yeah.
They had a great launch. They had everybody playing their game, but they literally dropped the ball with no content. I mean, that's basically
Did
it.
they shoot themselves in the
Because they
foot
just
with
rushed
that
it.
though?
They
Because it seems like for me, they paid those players to say, okay, so they obviously played before the game came out to push promotion for that. I believe it was like the first quote unquote hints of this game was like 2 days before. The game launched on February 4th, so we'll say February 2nd. Popular content creators like Ninja and Shroud, they were paid to promote the game. I believe it was 2 to 3 days after. After that, they were not contractually obligated to play this game, which meant if they didn't enjoy it, they didn't have to play it anymore. Most of these players didn't play it anymore. Um, People who did, like Shroud, he has notably like gone after Respawn in EA and has been like, look, you need more. You're turning into PUBG. Not even that, you're implementing new stuff that's breaking all the old stuff. So now you're turning in H1Z1. Um, so they need to do something. They need to be more clear on what they want to put out, and they also need to fix their game. I am tired of jumping into an early game and rubber banding or feeling like I'm in quicksand. It's very
Or
frustrating.
good old fashioned
Oh my
disconnect
god, that
right
is
after
so
you wipe
bad.
a couple squads.
Oh my god,
Like
it's
I'm not gonna lie, like their servers are like the thing is when this is what I liked about Apex, like really liked about it. And I will commend them for this, except at the same time there's some issues with it. Is Apex is the first BR where I don't feel like I have bad lag. Where as bad lag in some servers is especially since I play a lot of NA server like on NA servers often, even though I'm EU because all of my friends are from America. I didn't feel like I had a disadvantage when I was playing Apex, but Apex is some of the most inconsistent servers where you have the most you have an amazing, beautiful game.
oh yeah.
Everything's flowing, everything runs great, and then you get into another lobby and for the until like you get to like I think it's like 20 teams or like 10, 15 teams alive, then the server stabilizes again. It's such a weird thing how the server just goes up and down and it starts lagging randomly to the point where sometimes you're literally just standing frozen and then everything disconnects from the server.
Yep.
I don't understand how it's so inconsistent, especially even now where they've launched for long enough to be able to have good performance on all of their servers.
Yeah, I think in their statement I don't want to say they blamed it, but they stated that it was because it was a free to play game at launch, and it was a relatively small team. Obviously, since then we have seen numerous job postings for EA and Respawn to go work on Apex Legends. But their team was relatively small in the beginning, so they were extremely overwhelmed. Um, Most of the BRs that get released that don't get a lot of backing, like Realm Royale, Islands of Nine, games like that, um, they peak towards like the first day that they're released, and then after that they're done. It drops off. Um, but to the extent that Apex hit was, uh, to be completely fair, it was industry breaking. Nobody was expecting it. It beat Fortnite's records almost 4 times quicker. So I don't think it's fair for some people to say that BR is dead. I think it
I wish it
definitely.
was. That's just a personal because I don't like battle royale games at all. But like what I will say is I am gonna say though like I've heard some like inside stuff and I will not explain like where and how, but I am happy for the fact that Apex is taking their time to put in a proper competitive system. That's all I have to say. I am happy that they are putting in the time to really understand like okay like we really like if we put in a good competitive system people will come back to play it.
I think they will. I would.
And like we don't like they don't need to like beat Fortnite. They
No.
can just be alongside Fortnite and just be a different type of BR. And I will commend them for that as well. Like the fact that they are 100% just taking their time and they realize we just don't need to rush things. We can just take our time. If people don't want to play the game, that's fine. We have more than enough of a stable fan base to have people leave if they don't feel like waiting for the content. Because even though like we have to wait, it'll still be higher quality content than what Fortnite releases on a weekly basis.
Yep.
If they do it right. If they do it right. We don't know if they will, but I really pray to God that they will.
If COD wasn't a piece of recycled trash, I'd play that more. So, speaking of, I don't even know how to segue into this. So, esports apparel. Uh, Jesus, you threw me for a loop off that one, Chris. We talked briefly about the I'm gonna say it's not even leaked. It was announced the new 100 Thieves apparel going into spring and summer. Um, I have one piece of 100 Thieves apparel. It's hanging on my wall. It's the 2019 Players Call of Duty jersey. I love it. The quality is awesome. I'll probably never wear it just because it means a lot to me. However, that red, white, and black sweater that was in the New York Times article with Nade Shot,
Oh, that was so nice.
I want it.
Bro, I'd
I
throw
got it.
$100 at Nate Shop, be like, give me.
I
Gimme,
want it. I
gimme,
got
I
it.
want
7 rings. I don't care. And honestly, they are the only organization out there that is pushing out apparel that leaves me going, oh my god, I want it.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Champion stuff, it's cool. I'm glad that Champion and all these other organizations got that brand activation because it is huge for esports. However, I'm personally not a fan of it. That's me. I don't know your thoughts on it.
I don't know who I saw maybe it was FaZe. I don't know who it was. Somebody partnered with Champions. I saw it I think
Yeah,
last
it was
night.
FaZe.
It was a hoodie and it literally looks like they were trying to do 100 Thieves. It was a white hoodie and it just had like their name like at the top. Like they were trying to copy 100 Thieves and it's just like
Wait, it was. I need to find this.
do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I know that Dignitas released apparel. I know that
It
FaZe
might have been
released apparel.
Dig.
Okay, so
It might
there
have been
there
Dig.
are a bunch of teams that got brand
Oh.
activations with Champion. Some of them are including Optic, FaZe,
Optic has
Space
released new
Station.
jerseys.
It might have actually I think it was Optic.
There's a bunch
Optic
of
released new jerseys, yeah.
yeah.
It literally says the word Optic in the front, but I know it's a
Yeah.
jersey. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
Look.
yeah, yeah. The white Champion jersey with like the script Optic.
It's like they're
Yeah.
just like every time I see something, everybody's just trying to copy 100,
100 Thieves. No one's
and it
even.
doesn't look as good. Like,
I mean,
I
no.
don't-
I mean, 100 Thieves puts like months of like thought into all of the things that they.
Well, I mean we've
Why?
yeah, I mean we've talked about it. Viv. The people over at 100 Thieves aren't. It honestly sucks to say because we are where we are and we're working to get bigger, but they're not hiring random people off of Twitter who say, "Ooh, hire me because I have a little bit of experience." These are people that graduated from college with either a bachelor's or a master, and then they went on to work with huge companies, either being Riot, Activision, Blizzard, or huge social platforms like Instagram or TikTok.
it was actually G2. I found it.
Okay. Oof. Okay.
G2 released
I'll
apparel.
link it.
Yo, can I just say like something that I really am irritated by is that legitimately,
Oh,
and I don't know if
no.
this was like
Oh no.
done on purpose, but like, did everyone release the apparel, all of their apparel announcements all at the same time? Did all
Yeah.
of them get into a call? They're like, "Hey guys, this is happening. Let's all announce our apparel all at the same." all in the
Nah,
same
It's
I don't
probably something standard that like was in contracts with Champion
spring
or something.
collection.
Yeah.
Bro, how is this?
Yeah, because Champion had all their brand activations at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't understand. Like, what is so special about this?
About
Like, what's-
Nothing.
what-
It's not.
It's
I don't want to talk trash, but it's just. I mean, look at it.
I mean, like, I totally understand. Like, apparel is huge. It's a way to make it's like a way to make money if you
It's a
do it the
revenue
right way,
stream.
right?
It's a revenue stream.
Yeah, it's a revenue stream that you can produce literally for like outside of investors and sponsors. It's something that you can create for yourself and your own brand. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing to do, especially since you can't have investors pay for everything. But I'm just saying, it's like my issue with this apparel, like these companies all releasing their apparel at once, is that every single one of them, all of them look copy and paste, except it has a
Yeah.
different word on the front and a different logo on the back. There's no individuality, nothing different with what they're releasing, and it's like it's just really starting to get to me because and I'm gonna be very honest, and I hope that if I ever apply to these jobs and ever watch this podcast, but all I have to say is
Right.
like for example, FaZe Clan, complete trash, garbage, absolutely garbage. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if I get flamed in the chat. I saw the hoodies and I saw the hype, and I'm like, that's complete BS. The reason why it's hyped is because it's FaZe. If like
Yes.
legitimately all it is a hoodie with the ugliest print I've ever seen on the actual, like, where, like, the hoodie itself, like the hood just says FaZe Clan, which looks ugly as shit, and then just a logo in the front. Nothing special at all. They had the shittiest marketing for it. You would expect FaZe Clan, that is literally like the organization of celebrities. That's kind of what FaZe is about, celebrities, right? Celebrity popularity. Had literally no marketing behind it, some of the most irregular fucking marketing in general, because of the fact that half of them didn't retweet it, half of them did, half of them didn't post about it, half of them did. Nothing. It was just, we're FaZe Clan, we can do whatever the fuck we want, we're just gonna release this and you're gonna buy it. And that is exactly what happened. And it blows my mind that people bought a hoodie with a fucking logo on it that has, it's just, and they paid was it like
Yeah,
$80
it's
for it?
100, yeah.
For what? For what, dude? I'm like, I know I'm yelling, but like, for what did you pay money for? For what? It's trash. Like, straight up, you could have bought 100T apparel for that money. Way more worth it. But you bought a FaZe Clan hoodie that literally you're going to wear and then you're going to throw away because you realize it's trash and you never want to have any of their apparel ever again.
You are so passionate about this right now.
Yo, it's been like, I'm sorry, but like, I saw their apparel and it genuinely, like, oh my god, I just got chills. I was so pissed off. Like, even for example, like, I just don't like that every company's now doing collections. It's like, don't call something a collection, because you know that this is just a start, right? They're gonna announce more apparel in the future. And it's like, I just hate when people say this is a collection, when the collection is, okay, so we had a black hoodie for the first collection, and now we're gonna make a white hoodie, but instead of the logo being on the left side, it's gonna be on the right side. And we're gonna charge you $80, and then on top of that, for all you European fuckers that literally live across on another continent, you're gonna have to pay us another $40 in shipping just to receive our garbage product. No, I'm done. I'm so fucking fed up with it. I don't like everyone jumping on this lifestyle trend and doing it poorly. Like, if you're gonna do it right. If you're not, you're gonna be on my blacklist. I'm done. Done. Dropping my mic.
The FaZe, though, people will buy it. People will buy it.
Oh yeah.
Well, what are you paying for? I just get it.
So, you know what's funny? As much as I'm sitting here laughing at this entire rant, there's actually a dude in chat who was just like, yeah, I agree with Viv. So, you know, clearly you are not the only one.
No, I swear, Champion was like, all right, we gotta make a lot of money here, guys. So, literally, like, I don't think it was, I think Champion was like, we want you to announce these. One after another. Straight up.
Yeah, so this is what this guy says. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it
Elian, I believe.
Elian Go. Okay, Elian. I have to give props to Champion for doing it and for Esports Orgs eating it up. And they absolutely did. Because Champion right now is one of those brands that's kind of coming back from like the 90s and early 2000s. So you see all of these people like wearing all the Champion, Supreme, stuff like that. It's hypebeast lifestyle stuff. So when you include a brand like Champion like that, people are going to go, oh my god, this is exclusive, I want it. Exclusive.
And he's right.
Huge.
Champion was kind of trash. Like, even kind of back in the day, they were trying to compete with Nike and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they're so smart by jumping in on esports because it just makes them trendy again.
It's like Reebok in the UFC. Yeah, I could honestly see like Champion being that esports brand, and right now that's what they're doing. They got all the huge online presence brands, and yeah. But for
Can
me,
I also relate that to who was it? K-Swiss? Didn't they partner with like Immortals at one point? I don't even know what happened to that. They like had a shoe. I feel like some of these dead clothing sports brands is trying to be relevant, but Champion did it good.
Yeah, they did
whether or not we like the apparel.
Yeah,
I mean, no, Champion themselves, like the company, the decision to go into esports, good for fucking them, man. They're making mad cash. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, the esports organizations that are getting a wet one for 100 Thieves and then wanting to follow that direction are just doing it all wrong. Like, have you again? God bless. Please don't watch this podcast if you're trying to hire me. Have you seen Dignitas? What is Dignitas doing? Like, look, I'll send this in the Discord chat. What is that? What is that?
Why don't you just link? Hold up.
What
Link
is
it
that?
for the chat. Link it for the chat.
Like,
Oh, the Dignitas jersey?
like what is this? Who designed this? Like, please, in God's name, everyone
You're not wrong. You're not
stop
wrong.
doing this. Like, okay, first of all, I don't like the design, but everyone is doing the fucking baseball jerseys now. Stop.
Yes.
Oh,
Nat, you would remember these. Fubu and
What?
Jenko.
Dude, I used to wear FUBU,
Right?
man. I have pictures of me in FUBU. Let's not even.
Oh man,
bring
Fubu.
that up.
I wanted a Fubu jersey so bad when I was a kid because of NSYNC, but we won't talk about that.
LL Cool J also repped it a lot. Like, that was big. That was big.
Yep, it was. So, it wouldn't be surprising if we see Champion doing more brand activations, if them doing more drops. We may not necessarily like it, but clearly other people are because they sold out all of them.
mind blown. Still mind blown. I mean, FaZe has a lot of kids. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't believe it. I know FaZe. I understand 100 Thieves because, you know, yeah. I think that what FaZe Clan did is, I mean, it's FaZe, and obviously they were gonna sell out regardless of whatever trash they put out. They could literally have had a dumpster as their new apparel.
Chris says he likes the back of the Dignitas jersey.
Chris, what you doing? Why?
You
Chris.
mean you like the logo or like, because that's freaking huge. Look how huge it is.
The front is trash.
Half the logo is on her ass.
Right? Like, like, that's just my opinion. Like, FaZe could have released a trash bag as their new apparel lineup, and people would have copped that shit out so quick that, oh my god, they would have gotten billions off of that thing, alright? Because it's kids, and they just like the logo, and they like these people, and that's why they go for it. But I'm just saying, it's like, I swear, if everyone does, if I see, like, it's literally like, if you're taking it's like, okay, I'm gonna show you. So if you go to the Dignitas post, alright, you see
which one? That one?
Yeah, you go and you see it. Now take that exact thing and just swap the logos, and that's exactly what everyone is doing. Okay, so it says Dignitas. All right,
Can I just ask, why are the buttons blue? Am I the only one seeing blue buttons?
No, you're not.
They are. They're blue.
It's a fashion statement. We're gonna be a black and yellow brand, but we're gonna have blue buttons.
I'm gonna assume that's like color accent for the blue outline.
I cannot find their new like their jerseys like the Optic Gaming jerseys with the cursive on it. Can you guys find it anywhere?
I already found it. Yeah.
Can you send it?
I thought.
A lot of people were not too happy about it just because it reminded them of like.
You found it, right? You don't need me to link.
I don't even like almost like a soccer football logo type thing.
You talking about that one? I linked it in chat, Bev.
And like for example, like this. Yeah. Like what is this? Like I'm gonna send this as well. Like this is their new announcement for their their normal apparel. What is that? What is it? It's
the apparel or the video itself. This guy.
The video itself, where you see it and you see the apparel on it. It's what is that? Can you tell me? Can you explain the design of the hoodie? What's going on in the design of the hoodie? It's a white hoodie with the logo in the corner or in the middle in a different color. And
You're saying just like FaZe?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. I am sorry. I'm losing my mind. I can't do it. Yeah, that's it. That's my rant. Anyway, thank you. I'm done now. Don't buy their stuff. Don't promote this. Please make organizations actually have to think about their apparel. Because if you just give them money, they're gonna keep releasing garbage. And I'm just really fed up with having to pay $100 for a logo on a shoulder. I'm done.
Well, that's Viv's thoughts on esports apparel in 2019. Appreciate you. What about you, Nat? Is there anything else you would like to say before we start wrapping up?
I was reading the comments.
Oh no, you're fine.
I'm sure they're getting probably at least $1 million for partnerships with these orgs.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I can't even imagine. They're probably because they're the provider. They're probably making like, what would you say the percentage is? I mean, they are the provider.
I don't know.
I think like real sports organizations. I mean, God, their sponsorships are like pretty ridiculous.
I think they're taking about like 40%, 30 to 40% of all income because they provide the
Nobody
actual
would have
apparel.
searched out that partnership with Champion. Obviously, it was the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I legitimately think that they're taking about 40% of all income from all of these organizations, and the organizations are just selling them like candy because these people think that this is actual apparel.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. God, Viv, you have me feel some sort of way right now with that whole tea situation you have going on there. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up for today. It's gonna be a short one. We were actually aiming for 45 minutes, and we actually went over by about 20 minutes.
Well, the only reason why was just because of the fact that I was lagging so much. Like I was actually trying to piece together every word that you guys were saying to even understand what topic was like we were talking about or discussing.
Yeah, so were we, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. This was sort of like a test run, and I think it went rather well with having the three panels, actually having Nat on with the camera and such. We have chat interaction, which is great. So I thought it went really well.
I mean, plus we could talk for ages.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We always do.
We have the chemistry. You know?
Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, you can always tweet us. All of our Twitter @s are right below all of our little panels here. If you wouldn't mind dropping a follow, that would be great as well. We typically do this podcast. We're going to start trying to do it with the three of us, or maybe just two of us. We're not sure yet, but every Saturday around this time. And then also on Wednesdays, I try and do my own individual podcast where I talk about Call of Duty franchising. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to these two beautiful, amazing women, Viv and Natasha, for joining me today. It was fun.
It was very fun.
I appreciate you both. Hopefully we can do it again. But for that, we hope every single one of you beautiful people has a great Saturday. We hope you enjoy Endgame if you see it. We hope you enjoy Game of Thrones if you see it.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. And that's it.
Yeah, by the way, wait, real quick. If any of you guys see any more announcements on apparel, please send them to me.
Oh, God.
Like, just at me. Straight up, just at me. Anyone, just find my Twitter. I'm more than happy to discuss it. Just send me anything new so I can just like yell about it in the next stream.
Alright, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Have a great Saturday.
Alright, see you guys.
Bye.